For another Kraken themed postgame. We got RJ, we got Dylan from Emerald City Hockey. Find them on Twitter. They do a deep dive podcast. They're on YouTube. They're on all the socials. I mean, literally, RJ, who's up here in the burgundy sweater, he lives right across the street from Queen Anne Beer Hall and Climate Punch Arena. Dylan, they're correspondent from Southern California. They're originally from SoCal. Don't show them some hate, though. They're all about PW now. So it's time for ECH postgame with RJ and Dylan. Y'all give them a nice Queen Anne Beer Hall welcome.
All right, everybody. RJ, got the homecoming we wanted after that epic road trip. That NHL record-setting road trip where you go 7-0 on the road, make it 8 in a row, total for the team. But Seattle Kraken coming in, we knew that, go through Canada like that, you get the big wins. You go to Boston, the first team to beat Boston in regulation. I talked about it yesterday on the podcast. Hunter is probably going to become the hunted here. And that's what we saw from the Tampa Bay Lightning. Was they came in with a clear game plan. And it's really the first time this season that we've seen somebody treat the Kraken seriously enough to come in with a full game plan and really try to shut down what they want to do.
Yeah, I think this says a lot about where they are right now, that you're going to start getting single opponents' best effort every single game. And the Kraken did as best as they could to deal with that today. And as Dave Haxtell said after the game, it's a tight game. It could go either way. And it just came down to the bounces at the end of this one.
Yeah, I mean, you see what were the Lightning trying to do, right? They knew that offensively, the Kraken have been really successful with their offensive cycle. They've been getting the puck, especially down below the goal line, get it around the boards, try to generate something either from behind the goal line with like a nice heavily pass out to the slot, or they're trying to get something going back up to the blue line. We all know how effective the Kraken blue line has been offensively this season for them, right? And so we saw Tampa really concerted effort to make sure that they were not going to let those kind of rim around passes go through for the Kraken today. And then, we knew that, hey, first intermission, we could probably get an adjustment for it. We saw that a little bit later on. But that first period, it really kind of, neutered what the Kraken were trying to do.
Yeah, definitely. Tampa, it was clear that they did. I mean, they looked at where the Kraken brought the puck to in their cycle game. I think evident on the Kraken's first power play. They get power play unit. They've been trying to feed Ellie Tolman in there for the last few games. And Tampa, if you look at their 4 penalty killers, they were all on the left side of the ice, all on Tolman's side. They knew exactly where the Kraken were going to go with the puck. And after the first, Seattle had to make adjustments.
Yeah, we saw that adjustment after the first period. Something Dave Haxtell and the rest of the coaching staff has done really, really well throughout the course of the season was making those period by period adjustments. And we saw it this one. And really their idea was, let's just send pucks to the net. Like this is what we're going to have to do to try to generate offense. It's just try to generate something, try to get guys net front, try to score some greasy goals, try to get tips in the high slot. And it was just everybody sending everything all the time.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we've got some comments here from our live stream on YouTube. We do these after every single game. It's a live chat. We answer some comments from there. Dylan, what do we have?
Yeah, so lots of people bummed out about the loss, right? But a lot of stuff like kind of found to happen eventually. Yeah, we've been through this luckily twice before already, right? We've had a 5-game win streak. We had another 7-game win streak. They're growing. They're getting bigger. That's good. This last one was 8 games. But it never, it always hurts, right? Coming down with a loss. And especially painful that, they still can't seem to get over that hump at home, right? I don't know what the Kraken's issue is. We talked about it last game. Maybe they just didn't wear the road sweaters at home. But, the Kraken, they're really struggling with that in their own barn. But let's go back out on the road tomorrow. And some great scheduling by the NHL there.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like bad scheduling when you look at it before the start of the season. I think this is the perfect antidote for the Kraken, is going right back on the road, playing the very next day, getting back into that rhythm that they did so well in on this past road trip. it's almost like you don't want days off, you don't want a long homestand. They just get to go right out to Edmonton for a tough competitive divisional game.
Right. So let's talk about Philip Grubauer, right? Because he's somebody over the 8-game win streak. We already talked about it once, right? And but he's originally going into this season, in the last season, all that stuff. I mean, he was the Kraken goaltender, the definitive starter that everybody had in mind for this team. And he struggled last year. We all know that. This year, kind of just got unlucky, gets that early injury. Mark Jones comes in, looks fantastic with this team, starts racking up all the wins. Grubauer comes in today, gets that start because of the back-to-back. I thought he played a really strong game. Like, he held the Kraken in, especially in that first period where things were really not going their way. But I thought Philip Grubauer had a fantastic day today.
Yeah, he absolutely did. And unfortunately, he gets another loss on his record, but it was certainly not on him. And I thought one thing that was really telling, we talked to Dave Maxwell after the game, and he was asked, what do you think of Grubauer's performance tonight? And he said they did a great job. He had a really good game. And Maxwell doesn't always praise his goalies, even after they have a good game. This is something that we've learned. But he was jealous Grubauer and said he had a great game and kept the team in it. It was a matter of not scoring enough goals today.
Right, and that's been one of the things with Philip Grubauer this season that we've talked about. Is the lack of goal support that he gets. Only gets one goal tonight. I know you're playing against Tampa, you're playing against Vasilevsky. This is a really strong defense. They got a deep defense. They got the fantastic goaltending. But again, only giving him one goal in goal support, right? Not great on the power play. In front of him, yes, the big game was good in front of him, but still, it just feels like, they got to find a way to play in front of Philip Grubauer and make use of these starts, right? He's giving you quality starts. His quality start percentage is just about the same as Mark Jones. His save percentage, not far off Mark Jones either. It's really just about how the teams, for whatever reason, seems to play in front of them.
Right, and part of that is matchups too. Look at the last two games that Philip Grubauer has played. Yeah, tonight, I don't think Martin Jones wins you this game. I don't think he makes enough difference to do it. And you look at the last game, where you win at the win against Buffalo, but before that, it's that awful game against Edmonton. We know Martin Jones doesn't win you that game. He came in and didn't get any better. So it's all about the team in front of him.
Right, and I just wanted one quick shout out to the Philip Grubauer, that stretch back thing that he made. That was absolutely phenomenal. I really love to see that one, see him get in there and get that. Brian in here in chat pointed out Drew was sensational, 931 save percentage. Both goals they come off turnovers too, right? So they're not entirely his fault. The first one, fantastic save by that one. I mean, no goaltender's going to stop that one. That's a rough situation where Alexei kind of loses his man. Justin Schultz got to deal with two people that front, and he can only take one of them. And Belmar is able to get the screen and the tip on Grubauer. That's how you get that first goal. And then the second goal, Vince Dunn makes a pretty brutal turnover right there around the crease at the goal line. And then, in trying to recover for that, he does a perfect moving screen right in front of Grubauer, and Grubauer has no shot to see that, that puck from Paul has stood into a crease. And so it was just, again, it's a tough night where you don't want to hang either of these goals on.
No, definitely not. And it's tough against the Tampa Bay Lightning because they can make you pay for every single mistake that you make. You leave a guy in front of the net, and they've got the depth guys like Jared Belmar who can bring sticky scoring sometimes. And then, of course, with Nick Paul having that perfect shot over Grubauer's shoulder, even with the turnover, even with the screen, it takes a skilled player to create and play like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So the rest of that comment from Brian, the relentless effort and hustle was first seen when we went down 2-0. That's not what we saw on the road trip. And it is. I mean, I don't know how much of that was, it just took that to get the Kraken to kind of wake up today and get kind of back into this game and realize, hey, we've been on this 8-game road trip, but this is still a team that's gone to 3 straight Stanley Cup finals. Things are not going to be easy for them, right? They're not going to make things easy on us. They want to come in and make a statement game for themselves, right? Eastern Conference, it hasn't been their domain this year the way it has been in years past. They know that they can make a name for themselves by coming into Seattle and getting a big win over the Kraken. And so, how much of it do you think is just that? Tampa was just coming in, playing lights out. Seattle a little bit rusty for the road trip. We did see some sloppy play from them in the first period. and how much of that was also just the game plan that Tampa had, as we talked about earlier, where they were able to kind of shut down the Seattle forecheck, shut down the Seattle cycle game, so Seattle wasn't really able to get anything going.
I think it's a little bit of both. And you look at Tampa; they've been to 3 straight Cup finals. You don't get there without being able to adjust to different teams that you get, without doing your homework, without being really tough to get through. I mean, Dave Maxwell mentioned after the game, this is a really tough team to get to the inside on. You just can't get to the inside against these guys very often. So when you do, you have to take advantage of those chances. But also, I do think that the road trip and the fatigue a little bit, at least in the fourth start, I think that contributed. The players would never tell you that. Vince Dunn, I mean, he was given that, but how much do you think the fatigue mattered? He was asked. He said, no excuses. No excuses from us. I'm not going to talk about that. But I do think there was a little bit of that in this game.
And so more talk about that from Nathan. Why do you think we had so many issues against Tampa's defense than we did against Boston's? Also, any update on James Schwartz? Felt like we missed it today.
Yeah, no, definitely missed James Schwartz tonight. No update on him from Dave Maxwell. He's played this one really close to the vest as far as the injury information. A little bit frustrating, honestly. But yeah, we just know it's an undisclosed James. Like, what do we have here today?
I was going to say, Dave Maxwell kind of in a mysterious mood today. Wouldn't even tell us beforehand who the starter was going to be for this one.
This is the first time all season that's happened, by the way.
Yeah.
Even though they started goalie till warm-up.
Yeah. Lindsay bringing up the fact that we're now 0-4 all-time against Tampa Bay franchise history. Going to have to win until next season to get our first win against them. I mean, I'm going to ask you that kind of it's a fun but cynical question here. Which franchise do you think it's going to take us the longest time to get a win against? Do you think it'll be in Tampa? Just because they're in the East Coast, so you got to win. You only get a couple chances over the season.
It very well might be Tampa. Just because you only play them twice a year, and I don't see them getting any worse anytime soon. It better not be Vancouver. That's all I got to say. Have to be the Canucks. They play them again coming up this month, I believe on the 25th. Can't.
No, definitely not. Daniel, seemed like we weren't trying the shot redirection game we used against good goalies earlier this year. I don't know. I think after the first period where the Kraken made that adjustment in the second period, I feel like they were trying to get those the screen back front. They were trying to get something going in the slot, get those chips high slot. I just felt like, they just didn't have the luck back there tonight. They weren't able to get those chips. They weren't able to try to always be on the same page with each other, or the timing was just a fraction off. And maybe that's just because, hey, you have been on the road for 2 weeks, and everybody is a little bit tired. And at some point, that mental and physical fatigue has to catch up to you.
Yeah, and especially against a goalie like Andrei Vasilevsky. It could be frustrating in the best of times when you're not tired to play against a goalie like that. And then when you have arguably the best goalie in the world there too, has that last layer of defense. I think about the time Jamie Alexia skated around a couple Lightning defenders, got a really good chance, shot on goal, and Vasilevsky just slashed out the air like it was nothing. Those are the kind of plays you have to deal with against Tampa. Even if you get past all their layers, you have to deal with the goalie at the end. The frustration can mount.
Brian here, Tampa Bay shut down the one shiny toy we had on the power play, Tolvanen. And we talked about this kind of last game, right? It seemed like the Kraken just trying to go back to that Tolvanen one time, or just trying to go back to that Tolvanen one time. It was the first kind of bit of success on the power play they've had all season long. But you have to assume that teams like Tampa, teams like Boston, all the good playoff-based teams, they're going to do their homework. These are really good organizations. They've got fantastic coaching staffs, fantastic video coaches. They're going to do their homework. They're going to try to shut that down. We saw Tampa do that in a very extreme way today. On one of the PKs, they really had all 4 of their penalty killers over on the one side of the ice that Tolvanen was on. And, the Kraken didn't make an adjustment to it at all. And so it does feel like, we've struggled on the power play really our entire existence here. But, I mean, I don't know. Is it because you think Jerry McCann's on the other side? You can't set up a clean one-timer attempt with him? And he's not really sending it right now. Do you think he needs to kind of step up a little bit here on that other side from Tolvanen, kind of make himself a threat so that the passing lanes to Tolvanen can open back up?
I think that could be the case. You want that Jared McCann shot on the power play. You want it being used often. He's the team's leading goal scorer for a reason. And not enough of that has been utilized with the extra man.
Yeah, it's either that or you try to find somebody who can line up for a one-timer on that opposing side. But you might find yourself back in that same situation where you're just taking out that obvious passing lane over there to a one-time attempt. Um, want to talk about the penalty kill today because penalty kill they were pretty good doing the job today against a pretty elite power play. We all know what team stands supposed to keep control. Yeah, whoever they have out there in Tampa Bay, they got so many weapons, dangerous weapons out there on the power play. I thought the penalty kill did a really good job today, playing a little more aggressive because we saw the feed at the end of the road trip, and they were playing a little more passive, a little more conservative, and that tight box in around the goaltender. Today, they were really trying to defend the blue line, not let Tampa enter the zone cleanly, and it really paid off for them.
Yeah, it did. Tampa could not get clean entries on the power play, and that helps you so much once you get it clear and you can defend that blue line. It's something we haven't seen very consistently from the Kraken all season, but against Tampa, you're going to need that, and not tonight, or else Lightning could have done a lot more damage on the power play.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Special teams, special teams, special teams. If anything's going to get this team down the stretch, the Kraken, or even once we get to playoff time, it's going to be special teams. So, do you want to kind of see that maybe the next time they have like a prolonged homestand, not something like this where you got to go play a big divisional game tomorrow up in Edmonton. The next time you have a couple of home games where you can be in your facility, in your practice facility, with all your video coaches, with everything, I would like to see them kind of address that aspect of their game. Yes. Yeah.
Talk about playoff style hockey too. In that Boston game, it's a tight game till the end. This game, it's a tight game till the end. In playoff style hockey, a power play goal or a successful penalty kill one way or the other makes such a difference because it's not 8-5 hockey like in that Chicago game. As fun as that is, that's not the kind of games you're going to be playing in April.
No, it's hockey is kind of the ultimate momentum play, right? And so there's so much about it that goes into that. Special teams again, that's where you can build or kill an opposing team's momentum. The penalty kill did a good job of that today in Tampa, but the Kraken desperately in need of momentum today. Try to get that offense going, and the power plays were not the place to kind of find it. If anything, it stalled them out, kept them from getting the good 5-on-5 chances that they were getting. And unfortunately, that's just kind of been the story of the season so far this year for them. So definitely want to see them try to improve on that. Back at it tomorrow, new 8-game win streak to start. Happy to get back into Nathan there. And also get McCann to the All-Star game. Yeah, so token reminder, got to get Jared McCann in the All-Star game and showcase that shot down there in Sunrise, Florida with Matty Beniers. Really appreciate about that. Matty Beniers was one of the few guys that I felt like really started this game strong. Came out in the first period soon, and he was playing his 200-foot game. He was back checking. He was stopping Tampa Bay chances in the offensive, in the defensive zone, as well as really generating some good offensive looks as well. He was going into the corners. He was one of the few guys to kind of pick up on the idea that, hey, Tampa's not letting us do what we want to be able to do here. Let's try and change things on the fly. We all know the brains that Matty likes to play with there, and I thought that tonight was a really good example of it.
Yeah, he is one of the smarter players in this league, and I think he recognized right away that the Lightning did their homework, that they were going to set out to try and stop the Kraken's normal cycle game, and I think he improvised a little bit, all while keeping that strong back checking that we know he brings every single game. And I think it kept things from going from bad to worse early on in that game. We talked about how, how bad of a start they had in this one, but they didn't give up any goals as part of it right away. And I think a lot of that is due to Matty Beniers doing good play.
Right, and then he also let things off for them as far as goals and stuff. Trying to get there for 3 goals, try to score on the rebound, trying to just kind of create that havoc in front of Vasilevsky. Goaltender is very calm under pressure, right? You can't surprise this guy at all. So the only thing you can do is try to get his vision blocked, try to get him uncomfortable in his crease, try to get his defensive hands in front of him. And Matty Beniers really led the way in that effort. Ryan Donato, I thought, factored back in the lineup here at the Schwartz group. That he did a really good job about that as well. I would like to see them kind of, maybe next time they know they're facing a team like this that has a solid defensive group in front of them, a really good goaltender like that. I'd like to see them maybe almost start off with that game, maybe try to throw that opposing team with what you're doing, and maybe get the cycle and try to open up the slot a little bit later on. But I feel like the Seattle Kraken group, because of the depth they have, the size and forward, and really just kind of that gritty quality that a lot of them have, I feel like this is a team that can approach games and say, you know what, we're just going to make this one a 60-minute grind-it-out type of effort against a good team. Let's try to slow this game down, not let their offensive guys get anything going or gain any momentum or any sort of rhythm. And we're just going to grind things out in front of the goaltender here, just trying to make him uncomfortable. And you know what? Sooner or later, something's going to go in for us.
Yeah, definitely. We saw this too at the end of last season when they were playing against really good teams that they knew it was going to be a tough matchup. Like, look, we're going to slow this game down. We're going to grind it out. And, we're going to just try and keep a close game. And you be able to get more points out of it that way, too.
Right. And then another thing, Vince picking up the goals, right? Kraken defensemen have helped out offensively this season in a way that I don't think any of us could have predicted. Right? They've just been this absolute step-up unit. The way that Dave Maxwell wants them to activate, the way that they have been activated, it's been fantastic from them. And you look at that Vince Dunn goal. Yeah, it's Vince Dunn goal. It's a defensive goal. Primary assist, Adam Larson. He's finding him in a place where he can go ahead and shoot the puck and let it rip and get something going offensively. I noticed that again today, right? It's really much more striking in person. Usually sitting at home watching them, but when you get to watch them in person, you get to see that kind of back and forth and the real rapport that especially those two guys have as far as trying to create offensive chances once the Kraken already have a foothold in the offensive zone.
Yeah, and I turned to you several times on plays that Adam Larson made, knowing see it and appreciate it. That Dunn Larson pair had it going, one with the unfortunate turnover to lead the second Lightning goal. But from that moment on, he was the big stuff we remember from the road, is desperately trying to get it out. And he ultimately ended up doing it.
Yeah, he did. I also got those done, especially in the first period. Yeah, three really good where he just defended the blue line, did not let Tampa Bay enter the zone at all. And I thought this is one of the better games to kind of showcase the evolution and growth of it's kind of into a two-way defenseman, right? He's not the offensive guy that everyone remembers from St. Louis. He's maybe not the defensive guy we all saw at the beginning of this season. This is a guy who was playing really, really strong both ways. And yeah, it reminded me a lot of that Larson. Aggressive approach. I'm going to walk you into the board. It's not going to be anywhere to go. You're going to have to come through me. And guess what? You're not going to come through me.
No, absolutely not. I mean, Adam Larson is a wall. And Tampa's got some big players, too. You saw him going toe-to-toe with guys like Nick Paul, even Victor Hedman when he came out on the forecheck. Just, Larson, he can out-muscle anybody.
Yeah, and then the stick with this kind of defensive love that we got going on here. Jamie Alexiak doing what he did. We talked about him on the podcast the other day. We gave our mid-season grade on it. Walking it into the offensive zone, trying to get chances down around the Tampa Bay Crews. I mean, he's done a fantastic job this season activating and making and choosing his time. I can't think of any time in recent memory where Jamie Alexiak has done that, where he's come all the way down to the offensive zone, and it's really kind of been a problem going back, right? Justin Schultz, he's a nice rangy defender. He cover that because the Kraken have defensively conscious forwards. They're able to kind of take a step back when they see him do that. And it's one of those things where, again, that's just something that really good teams can do. It's really hard to defend because you're not expecting the 6'7" defenseman to try to activate and carry the puck all the way down and drive the net. Right? That's not something anybody's expecting to have happen. And you can see it today. I mean, this is as veteran a group as you're ever going to come up against in this Tampa Bay Lightning defensive core. And even they were thrown. And you got one of the best Kraken wins of the night trying to do it.
Yeah, I don't know what Jamie Alexiak was feeling tonight, but he was feeling it, trying to go in attention offensively. After the first couple of times, he was trying to get the third time going through everybody. And I just turned to Deagle and I said, coast to coast, take it all the way. And he felt like he had that confidence thing, and he was going to try to through everybody himself.
Yeah, no, he really was. Talking about the depth of the Kraken have, yes, unfortunately, we got to that James Schwartz injury, whatever it may be, and for however long it may last. But it was kind of nice to see that kind of fourth line unit kind of all back together with Gordon Dickey, Ryan Donato, Daniel Strong, and kind of seeing what they can all do together.
Yeah, definitely. They had the Kraken's, maybe their best shift, at the first period, kind of early in the game, getting them settled in. It feels like this has happened a few times, right? When the Kraken start off slow, it's always the fourth line that has that good first shift. Yeah, first good shift, to get everyone into it, and then the other lines tend to follow. Alice Lucan, of course, from Root Sports with a great stat, that fourth line has the most shot quality of any line on the Kraken in 2023. So since they started this streak, which they don't play the most minutes, far from it, to have the most shot quality. And people have stat. That's pretty impressive.
So it really is. And then the other, the kind of mirroring line down there in the bottom six offensively, the young Gordon on probably the bench coach. I mean, Yorkie is playing as well as anybody on the Seattle Kraken team. Yes, the goals haven't been there for him. Yes, the points haven't been there for him. But just to watch him play, again, one of the few guys that, really from the start of this game and through that kind of rough first period, able to generate offense, able to try to get things going, goes in there, heavy with his body, doesn't try to out-muscle guys, right? That's not his style. He's going to use his stick. He's going to try to pick their pocket. He's going to try to just disrupt their clean exit and know, hey, if I just get my stick on the puck, that puck's going to die. It's all going to left it's gone. I can pick it up or my teammate can pick it up or we can make something happen there. And then I don't have to take myself out of the play by throwing my body into the boards alongside him and get all tangled up. I'm now out of the play. No, he knows I can just use my stick. I can still be a really effective forechecker and I can help get our offense going.
Yeah, it's great to see this from Oliver Bjorkstrand after earlier in the season. I mean, he was a statement of a player, as you can have, really. Just could not get pucks to go in the net, blindly. But he's kept playing the right way. It's easy to get discouraged when that happens to you. He hasn't.
And then to talk about Young Guard, we got Scott and Chad. Any comments on Young Guard playing against these old teams?
Yes, and this was so fun watching Yanni Gord playing against his old team. You see the respect that his former teammates give him. If they're going into a battle in the corner, anything kind of one-on-one, they're not playing easy on the puck. They are making sure that puck, it just stays away from him and that you're going to try and body him out. Because the effort that you're going to get from Yanni every single time. I saw some smiles, too, after some physical battles along the boards with him and his former teammates. It's one of those things you look for up in the press bridge. And you can tell there was some kind of friendly jog back and forth.
Yeah, I thought Yanni Gord his shot seemed at least 10 miles an hour faster than the last time I saw it. And I'm assuming that has something to do with playing the Tampa Bay Lightning and not because he's been hitting the gym on this road trip that much harder than anybody else, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But he had some fantastic looks against them. You could tell that it means something. He still hasn't scored against them, right?
I did not know that.
I'm asking, right? I can't remember him scoring against them.
I can't think of one where he scored against his former team, but you'd like nothing better than that.
Yeah, no, he would absolutely love that. That Gregory and Shabby have the best fourth line in the league today. Absolutely. Kepler, let's see if going to take that pass from Tolby and attack him on the power play. Yeah, I mean, they did try to, Yorkstrand on that second unit power play, try to get him worked in on the bumper stop there. They got him the puck once.
Yes.
Let's just try to keep doing that. Let's try to get him the puck a little bit more than that. Because I do feel like that's one of those things where the first unit power plays, they've been a lot of stuff done in that second unit. If you're going to take away the Tolby in one timer, somebody out there needs to step up, whether it's McCann, Vince Dunn, Yorkshire, whoever it's going to be, step up.
And we've seen this dating back to last season. The way to get out of a power play funk is to show some different looks. Because that's the part of the game that is the most kind of stagnant, most predictable. On a 5-on-4 situation, it's the least fluid part of hockey there is. You know where everyone's going to be, and as a result, it's the easiest to game plan for. When you're an opposing team, you can watch film on another team's power play. You know what kind of looks they're going to set up. And when you can bring new wrinkles to it, that is the way to get out of the slump because teams don't know how to prepare for that because they maybe haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. Now, I'm never one to just kind of completely reject somebody's comments in the comment section. Okay?
You're about to do this.
That's not my style, but I'm going to do it for this one from Joey. He said CPA is cursed and we refuse to play at home. I'm going to completely reject them. All right, I know the road record's been better this season. But kind of like, I'm telling you, getting back up here, getting into the game there, getting in the midday game, open up the window, let some sunshine in. We were walking the concourse for one of the intermissions. I was like, geez, I should have brought my sunglasses. Kind of like, I really don't think that's the problem with this team, right? Like, if we're still looking at small sample sizes, home and road, we're talking about 20 games-ish of East, right? I really don't think that it's a home curse. I don't think it's a building curse. There's no way we can say that yet. I flatly reject that.
Yeah, I got to agree. I got to reject that too. And especially the crowd that came out today. This was a great crowd. They're just waiting for something more too. When you had that first goal, the whole building kind of blew up. It was electric. And that kind of thing, it does motivate the players. Like when you go down 2-0, it's easy to maybe lose a little focus, lose a little hope, but the crowd got right back into it. And it was coming off that TV timeout. It was an offensive zone face-off. They just gotten really loud off of something like a pump-up type of thing. I think the players felt that. My one joking suggestion to you during the game, you've got that window open, and you've got the sunshine coming in. Vasilevsky's in the far net. Maybe get some kind of giant mirror you can put on the concourse, reflect the sunlight right into the eyes. Only during the first and third period.
Yeah, it's only that. It would be interesting to see if somebody could try to set something up like that. If the NHL,
I'm not endorsing this idea from anyone who tries to do it.
The views and opinions expressed here are not reflected in the Seattle Kraken organization. So it would be interesting to see something like that happen. But yeah, I mean, look, there's still a lot of things to try here as far as routines and all that kind of stuff. I still think you can't judge a team on a one-game home trip, knowing they have to go back on the road tomorrow for a divisional game. We all heard them talk about that, right? Nobody, in any of their careers, John Forsberg, Big Axel, nobody can remember a time where a team is coming off of a really long road trip, a 7-game road trip, come back home for one game, and then the next day you got to go on the road again to play somebody in division, no less. I mean, I don't know. I'm willing to just say, like, yeah, we lost today, but, we had 8 in a row. One was to be expected.
That was a topic of conversation before the game as we were talking, not just like coaching, but the members of the media. People have been doing this for decades. I don't remember a single road trip and then one home game and then following it up with 4 road trips. They've never experienced this before. And I mean, I got to mention sleep. I mean, let's start with that. How do you sleep? We talked to members of the media. Like, they're getting in, the players are getting in at 2 a.m. And you don't have time to practice. You just get to the hotel and get what sleep you can, and that's going to wear on you eventually. I don't know how they do it personally.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it as far as like, hey, why are they good on the road? Right? We talked about this on the podcast. Is it the Mario Kart that they play on the plane? Like, what is it? And how can we replicate it here at home? But it is one of those things that, when you talk about the rhythm, like, yeah, you got to play this hockey game. You're amped for the hockey game, but you get the plane trip because you go immediately to the airport, get on the road. Give the plane trip, kind of cool down a little bit. That's your chance to kind of reset, get put in a car or a bus, take it to a hotel, you just crash, right? Where at home, it can be a little bit different, right? You've got maybe a commute home, right? You're not necessarily all going on a bus, but you got a commute home. You're stuck in your car. You're just replaying everything that you did earlier that day inside your head. You're not really kind of thinking about things. And so, I don't know if there's something like that. A lot of suggestions here from Kepler in the chat. The post-game interview, he said it was nice to be in their own beds. Maybe we have to go to the hotel stays during the homestand idea. I mean, we talked about that earlier this season. We've seen other teams do it in other sports where they just had everyone stay in hotels before the game. I still don't think we're there yet. Right? It's not like we're winless at home 40-something games into the season. But it is still just kind of one of those perplexing situations.
Yeah, I think it has to go a little bit further before we start insisting they stay at hotels when they're in Seattle here. Yeah, I mean, this was a close game against the Lightning. No need to overreact like that, but I don't know, maybe little things besides that, though, up as far as your road routine, the way you mentally prepare for the game, because clearly it is working for us.
Yeah, and then Scott bringing up something interesting here, too. I wonder what the Kraken's record is for afternoon home and away. So afternoon games, because that's another thing to factor in with this, right? It's a 1 o'clock start. This is not normal. Even coming from an East Coast road trip, this would not be like kind of a normal situation to play in because you're not able to get a morning skate in, right? So you're not able to kind of go through your normal routine at all. That's all thrown out the window. I think that's another thing we could factor into today where, again, it's not like the home first. It's just this is very extreme circumstances that the Kraken have to be playing in.
I mean, how much more could you mess with someone's internal clock where you have them going across, starting in Edmonton, going across 2 more time zones over the course of a road trip, staying in hotels, being up till 2 or 3 a.m., and then coming back for a 1 o'clock game, I guess 4 o'clock the time you're used to. No morning skate. And I know Vince Dunn would not accept any excuses, but come on.
Right, I mean, we were hearing, right? Because of how late they have to get in on the road, players, you're used to sleeping in until like noon or something just because that's the only way you got to get that rest of the recovery. Well, now that would be an hour before game time. So you're not able to do that here when you come back home. So it is an interesting situation. RJ, as we kind of start to wind down here, is there anything else from this one that you kind of want to highlight or put a focus on?
I mean, let's see. I think this was one of those games where I felt like you got really close to that 60 minutes of focus. You knew that Tampa was going to win. Essentially, it's a 2-1 game with the two empty netters. But if you're not on your game, this looks a lot worse score-wise. And I think there was no real let up from this team. I mean, this is one where if you do fully let go, this is a 6-1, 7-1 game potentially. Because Tampa's going to do that to you unless you're on your game.
Yeah. The final score is going to look rough, the 4-1. But yeah, that's two empty net goals. That's two goals where, we talked about a lot of the turnovers, tough situations for Philip Grubauer. To me, I think one of the big takeaways from this is that, hey, Philip Grubauer, after not playing for a week, can come in and still give a really dominant start. He can give you a quality start. He can make gigantic big-time saves. He can keep you in the game in which you're getting outshot massively through most of it. So that for me was like kind of the big highlight. Number one, Phil Grubauer can still kind of be that beast that you need him to be, so that we have a little bit more, we can breathe a little easier with Martin Jones kind of getting this heavy workload. If he has to take a step back, he has to get some rest. We know we can rely on Phil Grubauer. The other thing was the continued intermission kind of changes and adjustments that the coaching staff makes. We saw them come out a completely different team in the second period, and they were able to start to address that kind of shot differential. They weren't able to erase the shot differential, but they were able to start addressing it, get offensive chances, get some momentum going for themselves. I still think that that's a positive, and I still think it's a positive that the penalty kill has continued this upward trajectory from kind of the lowest of the lows that we were at there in mid-December. I'll take that every single day, that kind of continual improvement from
Yeah, and Dave Haxtell was very complimentary of the penalty kill. That's another step forward, and you're right. I think Philip Grubauer, his performance, huge takeaway from this one. And Dave Haxtell was flat out asked,
they got to play tomorrow on the RJ. I think it's time to go ahead and look at what kind of adjustments they can make from today to tomorrow, especially against the Edmonton team. The division, this is a tough team. We all know what they can bring to the table against Connor McDavid. And so, as far as adjustments you'd like to see them make, I mean, we talked about the power play. That's something there. But I'm going to kind of go back to something we brought up a little bit some of these last couple of games on the road trip, which is get the top six going. Right? Again, today, you're finding your one lone goal is coming from the defenseman. Right? The best chances we've talked about are guys like Oliver Bjorkstrand, Yanni Gourde. These are your depth guys, your bottom six. Where is the top six coming from? Where's that offense? Let's try to get them going.
and I think with the Oilers, it'll be a little bit better of a matchup that way. We know they've got Connor McDavid. We know they've got Leon Draisaitl. But behind those guys, the forward depth is lacking. And it's a road game, so you don't have last change. But I'd like to see if Dave Haxtell can find a way with a little quicker changes to get his top six out there against maybe some Oilers bottom six matchups. See what you can do with that. And, if you have to have the third or fourth line go against McDavid, I think they can handle it.
Oh, Yanni Gourde can totally handle Connor McDavid. Okay, we've seen Yanni Gourde handle Sidney Crosby
as much as any human can.
Right, we've seen him handle Sidney Crosby in the playoffs before, right? We've seen him handle all those great players in the Eastern Conference and even some from the Western Conference on those cup runs. So, yeah, I have full confidence in Yanni Gourde. This is why they wanted him, right? This is what he's known for. This is what he's good at. You send him out there, and he's really great at limited chances there. So, yeah, some solid stuff. Anything else for the
I think just back on the road again, get back into that routine. Don't think about it too much. And I think that's just going to go a long way.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a good one. Martin Jones is going to be back in that tomorrow night. It seems to be the Kraken's good luck charm this year. But I try not to put too much stock in just the win-loss record in a team-based sport like this. But there is something about Martin Jones there. We just beat Edmonton on the road not too long ago, Ivy. That's something good to look forward to as well. I think the Kraken are going to rebound. We've seen them do this all season long, right? They don't go into prolonged losing streaks. That's not what this team is about at all. So I really think we're going to have a good one to look forward to tomorrow.
Yep, agree. All right, so I think that's going to do it for this edition of ECH Postgame Live. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. And yeah, we do this after every single Kraken game on YouTube. So if you want more of this, want more of the inside scoop from us, again, we're at every home game, we're at every home practice. We cover the Kraken every single day, and we do this after every game. So join us on YouTube. And then also, we've got some stickers, we got some swag over there. Come join us, come say hi. If you want to talk more Kraken hockey, get some stickers. We'll be right over there. And thanks, everyone. Can we get one more round of applause for Queen Anne Beer Hall for hosting us today?
Let's go. Queen Anne Beer Hall. Best place to watch Kraken games. That's not Climate Pledge Arena.
Exactly. All right. Well, I'll leave you with that, and go Kraken. Oh, yeah.